And in Bethnal Green and Stepney, Ajmal Masroor dented Labour's majority, coming a close second to Rushana Ali. And Ajmal joins me now. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a long day and night for you. You didn't win, but you came a close second. How does that feel?
Good afternoon. Yes, it's been very long. In fact, I haven't slept properly for 48 hours now. So if my voice sounds croaky and cranky, please forgive me. How does it feel? It feels actually amazing. Well, two amazing feelings. Number one, finally it's over. It's like a marathon on a steroid. For 6 long weeks, I've been running from A to B and A to Z and all possible areas of the constituency you can imagine. Some unpenetrable areas, tall buildings with no lifts, or buildings with lifts that don't work, or buildings or roads that are almost never seen or never heard of. But it was amazing. So that's one thing. Secondly, I feel very elated by the fact that I may not have won the war, but I've won the battle. The hearts and minds of my constituents are with me. They gave me their heart-pouring love and support and respect that I've never seen before. You know, I've been to many constituencies and I've stood in elections before. This time was exceptionally amazing in terms of people's hospitality and kindness. Everyone was so amazing. I went to people's houses, went into their living room, their kitchen. They opened their doors up when I needed the bathroom. They fed me. There was nothing that I could blame this community for except their absolute humility, kindness, and hospitality. So that's one thing I think I've achieved. And the most important, which is significant for the political discussion that we're having, is that Labour Party has been given a very strong message. And that is, this was Rushnara's seat, Labour Party's safest seat, the highest, second highest majority amongst all the MPs in the country. I've been able to completely reduce that to a marginal seat, 37,000 majority in the last election to now 1,600. And that is an amazing achievement. So people of Tower Hamlets, people of Bethnal Green and Stepney have spoken, and they've told Labour Party you can't get away with politicizing our race and color and our support for people around the world. You've got to listen to us. And I think they would have to sit up and listen.
What were the areas of your focus that appealed to so many voters?
Well, first one, people of Bethnal Green and Stepney were determined to stand with the Palestinians. I don't know whether you know, there's been a lot of controversy in the borough over people putting up the flags, Palestinian flag I'm talking about. Their support was absolutely infectious. If the flags were taken down by the council for having been put up on the lampposts, obviously that shouldn't be the case, but they were done. And people had put them up through their windows, their doors. People painted their front garage with Palestinian flag, shop front with Palestinian flag. So there was a massive groundswell of support for the Palestinian people and their plight. So that's one thing. And people wanted us to all work together to see people of Palestine enjoy freedom, security, human rights like the rest of us do. Second most important debate that we had in the borough was Labour Party's leaders' comments about the migration or illegal migrants from Bangladeshi community. Even though he may have made this as a remark, not intending offence, it caused a huge amount of offence. And that really galvanized people. But the biggest one for me, after all of those, would be communities' desire to break away from their dependency on Labour Party. They wanted to teach Labour Party a lesson, that Labour Party thinks it can take the Tower Hamlets people's votes for granted. The people of Tower Hamlets have spoken, saying, no, you can't. We've reduced your seat from being the safest seat in the country to being a marginal seat. You don't behave in the next election, we'll kick you out. And that's the lesson, and that's the message that they're sending out.
And as I mentioned in my introduction, there were and are quite a few independents, many who have become successful. Why do you think that is? And what implication does it have for the future political landscape?
A massive implication for the future political landscape. The global independence movement, I'm talking about UK-wide political scene, has changed. There are people now, or at least people have become politically aware that they can actually exercise their democratic right without being part of a political party. They have also learned that political parties, while they may form governments, may play an important role in our country and in our democracy, independent voices are essential to keeping checks and balances, as well as posing challenges and raising serious concerns that these parties with their political muscle or party machinery often either use and abuse or just ignore. So it's changed now for good. We're now seeing 6 independent voices in the parliament, including the former Labour Party leader. And these are, and you just played his interview. These are significant seismic shift in our politics. I'm looking forward to a day when we have more proportional representation in our government, in our country's parliament. I'm looking forward to a day we have more independent voices. People should not be bought into the parliament because of party ticket. You know, there was a saying in my constituency that if you put a red rose or rosette around a dog's neck in Tower Hamlets, it will get elected because it's from Labour Party. That's changed. People know now that they can flex their muscles. They know now that they can have independent voices. And they also know that independent voices are good for our country. So I'm looking forward to that change.
And it's interesting as well. I want to ask you whether you will consider running again. I mean, Nigel Farage, only to bring him into the conversation in relation to this, has tried 7 times and he's finally won. Are you likely to run again?
I never say no. And I say this about my life. I've never ever said no to anything that's been offered in my direction, especially if it's sensible, especially if it's going to serve the interest of my community and the country in which I live, and I've made my contribution so prominent here. So yes, if the people of Tower Hamlets, Bethnal Green and Stepney, or any constituency felt that my service and me standing with them, for them, would serve the interest of the community, I shall certainly be always open to that conversation. But here is the bigger challenge. By people like myself standing up for justice and fairness of the Palestinians, by people like myself standing up, challenging the status quo, and by people like myself standing up and saying to the established political parties that you can't take our votes for granted, we're opening up doors and breaking the glass ceilings that they've created and we've accepted. We need to break the shackles of this dependency culture, the chains that make us our own prisoners. Our conscience are dominated by our fears, the fears of what political future we may have or might not have if we don't have Labour in government. That needs to be broken. We're all individually responsible. And collectively, when we come together, we should come together as a collective group of people for the furtherance of the interest of the collective interest of people. Now, if any constituency, and this is an open announcement on your platform, any constituency at any time in the future feel that I can be of service to them, all they have to do is pick up the phone and talk to me. I'll consider it because I believe duty for my country and my people come first and the foremost before my personal interest. And that's what I've done all my life, and I promise I'll continue doing that for the foreseeable future.
Well, I hope you get some rest in the meantime, Ajmal. Thank you
very
so
much.
much for joining us this afternoon. Ajmal Masroor, who, of course, ran in Bethnal Green and Stepney, dented Labour's majority, coming a close second to Roshana Ali.